The dark night of the soul is an extremely difficult transition in your life in which basically you are undergoing a purification and complete regeneration of your own sense of identity. It's a long process of losing and grieving yourself. There are 5 distinct stages in this process, which I'm going to break down for you now. The first phase is the initial crisis. This can be from sudden intense trauma, like the death of a loved one. It can be a breakup, which, side note, if you are in a twin flame separation, the dark night is inevitable. Or the catalyst could even be something as simple as a profound realization that the way that you see your life around you is different than you were before. Whatever the case, this crisis is something that causes you to disconnect from the self that you identified as before. Phase 2 of the dark night is the dissolution. This is the tower moment. And moment is the wrong word here, okay? Everything in your life is falling apart, not just one thing. Any type of external support that your old self had, whether that be money, career, relationships, family dynamics, whatever, starts to shift and challenge you, all at the same time. This stage is the most overwhelming by far, and is typically the breaking point for your ego, because it's essentially the inevitable death of the life as you knew it. Everyone and everything that you had once relied on, even down to the type of coping mechanisms that you may have used, all of a sudden just don't work anymore. Now, you feel completely disconnected from it, like it's out of touch completely. The third stage is surrender, and you can do this voluntarily and welcome the surrender, or it will just happen on its own. But the longer that you try to resist it and avoid changing, the harder your life is going to get. Most people reach a point of just utter numbness and dissociation that they begin to question the point of life itself. The fight to feel happiness again starts fleeting, and the person essentially is just existing without feeling alive. Stage 4 is the confrontation with the self. Eventually, your dissociated state of living becomes a mirror for your subconscious self. In this stage, shadow work is really important because you're going to begin to see extremely deep wounds within yourself, and it's up to you to understand and transform them. You really begin to see the physical, mental, and emotional habits that you had built, which you will then recognize was the cause of the suffering in the first place. This is the longest phase of the dark night, and it is not fun, it is not comfortable, and it is not easy. It's important in this process that once you identify your patterns, you start creating new habits that are healthier and allow you to heal yourself. As you begin to develop new habits, you will transition into the 5th phase, which is reintegration. You begin to realize that the person that had that initial crisis is not the same person that you are right now. You'll feel a mixture of both grief and inner peace. But most of all, you begin to feel hopeful again because you can see now that change can and did happen to you. And you realize that you have the option now to create whatever life you want to have. Congratulations, you experienced what true love feels like, and you gave it to yourself.